The internet loves straw man arguments, and I am losing my mind. I recently posted a video about this on TikTok, but I want to take a step back and talk a little bit more broadly about just this whole sphere. It's a relatively common term, but a straw man is effectively an argument that has been invented for the sake of being defeated. What I'm talking about specifically here are creators and organizations making videos and posts and whatever, where they've invented a character who's effectively a caricature of their opponent. And then they spend time just berating this person and having this fake character say the absolute worst things. Typically, this character will be saying contradictory statements, or sound stupid, or just have an amalgam of all the worst takes that this side has to offer, and is clearly a hypocrite. It is the functional equivalent of the character in your head that you argue with in the shower. The problem with all of this is that it doesn't do anything to help. When I speak for the other side and have them say all the worst things, it makes me angry! I did that same bit in the TikTok, but it's a fun bit. I want to break this down. On the surface, it makes sense, right? You've got a person who wants to convey the opponent's opinions and show you how to defeat those thoughts or, beat them in a debate. But first of all, humanity, as I've said before, is not one giant debate club. But really, we're solidifying these false perceptions of our political adversaries, and we're coming up with all these ridiculous concepts of what they're actually thinking, when in reality, that's not where their head is at. Are there people out there with confused, deranged, just ridiculous opinions? Yes, absolutely, obviously, for sure. But they are a minority that we have shined a massive spotlight on, and we let the worst of them speak for everyone. I am not advocating for centrism here. I am not advocating for finding common ground with abhorrent people. If you've seen any of my content, I hope you know that I am solidly not for meeting in the middle here. But now let us segue into my second point, which is that we don't need this. The way I see it is there's like two reasons why this is popular. One is it plays to the algorithm. Any kind of social media website that has an algorithm that serves content based on engagement is going to serve this kind of content because it's going to get engagement. You either have people agreeing with it and being like, yes! Or you have people who get angry about it and they scream in the comments. The other school of thought is that someone's trying to radicalize you, which is totally sensical, right? If you are trying to make a certain group look awful, you're going to portray them as horribly as possible. And if you want to get somebody nice and mad and want to make sure that they get politically engaged, what better way than to make them convinced that the other side is just absolutely ridiculous. Do not get me wrong. In many cases, the other side is absolutely ridiculous. But that's my point. We do not need to argue with unhinged people. They are unhinged. They are going to do what they're going to do, and we cannot control that as individuals. I do not think that the best use of our effort is to be spent trying to argue with fictional people from the other side of the political spectrum. Arguing and debating does not often change people's minds in the first place. Arguing and debating with fake versions of the people whose minds you want to change does nothing but piss off the people who want those people's minds to change. We're making ourselves mad, and for what? What do we get out of it? Being more mad? I do not care what abhorrent and hypocritical opinion some abhorrent and hypocritical person has. That is a property of that person. Gases fill up the volume of their container. Abhorrent people say abhorrent things on Twitter. It is a physical property of these things. I do not have the time and energy to be mad about an abhorrent person doing an abhorrent thing. I am ambiently disapproving of it. It is terrible and awful, and I do not want these abhorrent things to be happening. But if I think about where my best impact lies, it doesn't lie in me being mad that they're doing the thing. They're doing the thing regardless of if I'm mad or not. So literally, what do? I strongly believe that the best use of our time is to make a clear and concise message to move forward. Make an inclusive and welcoming space where people want to join us, rather than trying to convince others to be mad and leave other places. Even if we do convince certain people to leave certain spaces, we haven't told them where to go, and they don't know what to do next. What we should be doing is attracting people into the way that we want to live. Creating and sharing a space and way of thinking that people want to join is a much healthier way to approach all of this. It doesn't come from a place of hatred, it comes from a place of wanting a better future. I am not giving a pass to all of the terrible things going on right now, and I am not giving a bye to the people who are fueling it. However, I do think there's a lot of misplaced energy that could instead be going into building a better way forward. Right now, there are a lot of people who are angry, confused, dejected, and cast aside. They don't know what to do with their ire, and they've basically just been screwed over by society. It becomes so very easy for a malicious person to find one of these confused people and say, hey, this person is your problem. Hey, hate this group. hey, buy my self-help course. But what if instead we met these people and said, hey, I know you're confused and dejected. I am too. What if we worked together and made a world where that didn't happen to people? What if we started showing that a great way forward is to come together, understand each other, and learn from people? What if we acknowledge that society sets us up for failure from the get-go at a very young age, starting as early as Disney films? Being idly angry doesn't fix anything. What does fix things is direct action. See what you can do in your local area to improve the world around you. Make it clear to people that you want to put in the effort to help them and you want to make a good faith leap towards improving humanity. And please, stop arguing with the straw man. It may be a straw man in your head, it may be a straw man that a news organization put in front of you, but it's probably a straw man. And again, yes, there are people who fit the description of these straw men sometimes. Totally. But the prevalence of those people is largely exaggerated because they are the ones that we shine a spotlight on. The vast majority of the people that you're passing on the street, they're just trying to go to work, get home, and be with their family. Engagement metrics are a cancer on our society. Be well.